So if I were to be doing this in 2025, these are the pathways I will be looking at applying to. Hi guys, my name is Ify. Welcome to Niger Loving, Canada Living. And if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a video. And if you're old, you're an OG viewer or an OG subscriber, you'd know that the name has changed. So I changed the name just to reflect what I want to make this channel about. Just sharing my experiences as a Nigerian living in Canada, hopefully helping you make your journey easier to Canada. So welcome back guys, and thank you for watching today. So recently I've had a lot of people asking me how they could start their journey to Canada, how they could move to Canada. And I would admit I have been out of touch because at this time I've lived in Canada for about 5 years, which means that the process to getting me here would have started maybe about 7 years ago. So I would admit I'm a bit out of touch, and so I decided to do some research. So first things first. So when I moved to Canada, it was pretty straightforward for me. I just checked what my score was, and I saw that I had I think about 470 something. I think 473 I would want to say. And so it was pretty straightforward. The obvious choice for me at that time was express entry, federal skilled worker. So that was what I did when I moved to Canada. That was the pathway that I used to move into Canada. Even though I have been out of the loop, I have kept abreast of what's going on in that area, and so I know that there's been a lot of changes in the past 1 year. But when I did my research, wow, I saw that things are totally different. The pathway that I used to get into Canada, if I were to be doing it today, it wouldn't be possible for me. So I did my research, just putting myself back in the shoes that I wore a couple of years ago, to see what options would be available to me. So I just decided to do research for a 30-year-old Nigerian who has a master's degree, who has some sort of work experience, let's say about 5 years. I just decided to look at the best pathways for them. So as a 30-year-old Nigerian who's looking to move to Canada, these are some of the pathways that I would take if I were in your shoes right now. So the first option that I would suggest would be Provincial Nominee Program, that's also known as PNP. So in this program, the different provinces can nominate you to come to their province based on some skills that you have that they probably are looking to fill within their province. So with this, the province gives you an additional 600 points to whatever points you already have based on your age, your education, your experience. So they give you an additional 600 points. So some of the popular provinces that I've seen a lot of people going for would be Saskatchewan, Alberta, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. These are some provinces that made the path to Canada a little easier. So you would have to either apply to the province yourself, or when you fill out your express entry profile, you have the option of selecting the provinces that you would want to select you if possible. And so those provinces go into those polls and look and see people that meet their criteria and nominate them, which gives them 600 extra points. Then the second route, which I would say is the study route. So people use this as an option of immigrating. So usually after you're done studying, you'll usually be able to get a work permit and hopefully eventually your permanent residence. So you have to be very intentional about the schools that you're applying to, because there are certain schools that wouldn't be able to give you a work permit after you just come study and then you leave. So you have to do your research to find information about the schools that can give you a work permit. You have to also be sure of the course that you are doing, to be sure that it's a course that also can give you a work permit as well. The third one would also still be the express entry program. So there are three different classes for express entry, but as somebody who is coming, I would assume, without Canadian education or Canadian work experience, the federal skilled worker would be the one that would apply to you. So this was, like I said, the program that I came in with. So in this case, you need to get into a pool, and if you have the ideal score that they are looking for, or if you have the skills that they are looking for, because draws are kind of different now. Before, it just used to be you get the score, and then you either have above the score they are looking for, or you have the exact score that they are looking for, and then you're qualified. But now sometimes they are looking for people with specialized skills, so there are different dynamics for this option. So you just need to create your profile, get into the pool, and wait for a draw. And if you qualify in that draw, then you're able to apply. This is a program that allows like rural communities to also reap the benefits of immigration, because most times you find that when people immigrate, when people land in Canada, they do not necessarily always go to those rural areas, and they tend to go to more popular cities, bigger cities where there are more opportunity. So this gives those rural cities the opportunity to also reap the benefits of immigration, helping them fill out like areas of specialization where they don't have people to fill those roles. So they put out a job, you apply for that job, and if you are successful with the application, they can then nominate you, and then you go into the pool and you do your whole process. So these are the four options that I would look at if I was looking to come to Canada at this point. So some of the things that you need to have before you even begin your journey would be your IELTS, which is the language test. You need to be able to test that you're able to communicate and people understand you when you communicate, and also that you are able to understand when you are communicated to. You would also need your ECA. This is your education credential assessment. So you can either get that with WES or you can get that with ICASC. So generally, if you have a master's degree, I would advise just go through WES. It's straightforward and easier. And if you don't, I've seen that most lawyers that do not have a master's degree and people that have like other degrees that are not necessarily a master's degree or like certification, they tend to like to go with ICASC because this tends to give them higher points. Then you would also need to have your international passport, because at some point they would need to put your visa on that. And then you'd also need to have your resume and your reference letter. This gives a description of your skills and the journey that you've been through as a professional or whatever. And then the reference letter is just from your employer endorsing that yes, you indeed have those skills. Then you'd also need to get your police certificate to show that, okay, you're cleared, you're not a criminal, you're not coming to their country to commit a crime. You'd also need your medical clearance. You need to do your medicals just to prove that you're healthy and that you're well and all of that, and you're not coming to basically start another pandemic. I joke. Then you'd also need proof of funds. This is where most people get stuck because of the exchange rate. Something that at that point in time I needed only about 3.5 to 4 million naira is costing about 22, 21, 23 million, depending on who you ask. So you need to make sure that you have that. And outside, because this proof of funds is something that Canada needs to know that you are not coming in to be a liability to them. So for example, when I moved to Canada, like 2 weeks after I moved here, the pandemic happened and everywhere shut down, so I couldn't get a job. What saved me was the fact that I came in with my proof of funds, and so for the time before I got a job, I was able to survive. I didn't need to get any of those social programs that the government was giving. So yeah, these are the options that I would look at, and these are some of the things you need to consider when making your move to Canada. Just some piece of advice from like my journey and just from what I've seen over the course of the last couple of years. The Government of Canada website has every information that you need. I know like people tend to be in groups and they are sharing different information on there and all of that. The Government of Canada website has all the information that you need. If there is something that is confusing you, I promise you, if you go and do your research, like in-depth research, you'll find the answer there. I remember I had questions about my proof of funds, and the answers I was getting didn't really resonate with me, and so I eventually just sat down and looked at the Government of Canada website, and I was able to figure out the information that I need and the right thing that I needed to do. Then I would say be patient, because this process can take a while depending on the program that you are going through. It can take anywhere between 6 to 24 months. Like it can be as short as 6 months, and it can be as long as 2 years. So be patient, continue going about your life. Don't quit your job, don't sell off your things because you started this process, until you have your visa in your hand that allows you move to Canada. In fact, I would say until you get into Canada and your PR is approved, just don't make any permanent decision because you have the visa self, because like there's been cases where people were turned back. So you do not want that type of situation for yourself. So maybe after you move and you have your permanent residency card, you can then sell off everything, quit that job, sell off your business, make enemies if you want back home in Nigeria. And finally, I would say learn a skill. This was something I wish I did that I did not do, because the last 1 year has taught me that you need to be able to have something you can fall back on if things go wrong. That's life, things go wrong, and so you need to be able to fall back on those skills. So learn a skill, they come in handy and they can help you with like those extra bills. So yeah, that's what I have for today. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my knowledge. And please do not forget to like this video, drop your comments on these videos, share this video, share it on all your social media handles, share it to everyone you know, share it to people that you think would need this information. And also please hit the subscribe button and also follow me on social media. My social media handles are on the screen and I'll also drop them in the comment section below. So thank you very much, guys, and tell me what you want to hear from me. Tell me what you want me to talk about and I will be happy to speak about that. Thank you, and have a lovely day. Bye.